First contact catastrophe. The quantum relay aboard the ESV Odysseus chirped to life, startling Commander Maya Chen from her data review. She pushed away from her console and moved toward the communications array where Lieutenant Dias was already frantically adjusting controls. "Lieutenant, report," Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline suddenly coursing through her veins. "Commander, we're picking up artificial signals. Definitely not natural cosmic background radiation." Dias's hands danced across the holographic interface. It's structured, repeating patterns with mathematical precision. "This is it, Commander. First contact. The ESV Odysseus, humanity's most advanced deep space research vessel, had been deployed to the edge of the Andromeda Arm, specifically to search for signs of intelligent life. After 3 years of methodical scanning and exploration, they'd found nothing but dead worlds and primitive microbial life. Until now. Maya tapped her comm unit, Captain Rice to the bridge. Immediately. Within moments, Captain Alina Rice strode onto the bridge, her tall frame commanding attention as always. At 45, she'd earned every commendation in her personnel file through grit and brilliance. The Odysseus was her first deep space command, and she'd handpicked every member of her crew. "Tell me we found something worth calling home about," she said, her eyes already fixed on the signal patterns rippling across the main display. "The signals are coming from the 5th planet in the Proxen system," Maya explained. "They're artificial, structured, and definitely being broadcast rather than leaked. Whatever civilization created them, they want them to be heard." Captain Rice studied the patterns, then nodded decisively. "Send the first contact package as per protocol. Let's make humanity's debut on the galactic stage a good one." What followed was the most meticulous 18 hours in human history. The first contact package, carefully designed by Earth's finest linguists, mathematicians, and anthropologists, was transmitted toward the source of the alien signals. It contained basic mathematical concepts, visual representations of humans, Earth's location in the galaxy, and simple greeting messages in hundreds of Earth languages. No one expected an immediate response. The communications delay alone should have meant waiting days for any reply. When the quantum relay chirped again just hours later, the bridge fell silent. "They've responded," Dias whispered, almost reverently. "And they've somehow adapted to our communication protocols." The message that came through was simple but chilling. "We see you. Stay where you are. We are coming." Captain Rice frowned. "That doesn't sound particularly friendly." "Could be a translation issue," Maya suggested. "Their understanding of our language might be imperfect." "Maybe," Rice said, but her instincts were already firing warning signals. "Battle stations. Power up defensive systems but keep weapons offline. Whatever's coming, I want us ready." Within 3 hours, the sensors detected a massive object dropping out of what appeared to be some form of faster-than-light travel. The alien vessel dwarfed the Odysseus, a gleaming construct of what looked like liquid metal constantly shifting and reforming its outer hull. "My God," someone whispered on the bridge. The alien ship made no aggressive moves. Instead, it merely positioned itself between the Odysseus and the jump point that would allow a return to Earth. The meaning was clear. They weren't going anywhere. Another transmission came through, this time accompanied by visual feed. The aliens, calling themselves the Vex, appeared insectoid in nature, with multiple limbs and faceted eyes that reflected the light in prismatic patterns. Their spokesman's voice was translated through some unknown technology to sound almost human, though with a metallic undertone that set everyone's teeth on edge. "Humans of Earth," the Vex representative began. "We have analyzed your species through your transmission data and historical records accessible via your primitive information networks. We have determined that your species represents an unacceptable level of risk to galactic stability." Captain Rice stepped forward. "We come in peace. We seek only knowledge and friendship." "Your history indicates otherwise," the Vex interrupted. "Your species thrives on conflict. You advance through war. You consume resources at an unsustainable rate. Your expansion would inevitably bring chaos to ordered systems. That's not fair, Maya objected. We've overcome many of our past problems. Earth is at peace now, has been for decades. A temporary state. The Vex dismissed. We have studied thousands of species across multiple galaxies. Species with your profile invariably disrupt the equilibrium we maintain. Captain Rice straightened her shoulders. And what exactly are you suggesting? Two options, the Vex replied, their mandibles clicking audibly. First, accept status as a protected species. We will provide your basic needs, but you will remain confined to your solar system in perpetuity, under our supervision. The bridge crew exchanged horrified glances. Humanity, effectively caged like zoo animals. And the second option? Rise asked, though she suspected she already knew. Extinction, the Vex stated flatly. Quick, painless. We are not cruel. Rise felt her blood run cold. This wasn't first contact. It was an ultimatum from a species that had apparently appointed itself Galactic Zookeeper. We need time to consult with our government, she said carefully. You have 48 Earth hours, the Vex conceded. We will allow your ship to return to deliver our message. Choose wisely. The connection terminated, and the Vex ship moved aside, clearing the path to the jump point. Get us back to Earth, Rise ordered. Maximum speed. The return journey was tense. Maya worked with the science team to analyze everything they'd learned about the Vex, which wasn't much beyond their apparent technological superiority and their disturbing philosophy. They're making assumptions based on incomplete information, Maya argued during a senior staff meeting. They can't possibly understand humanity from a few hours of scanning our broadcasts. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, Security Chief Alvarez countered. What matters is they have the power to enforce their ultimatum. When they arrived at Earth, the United Earth government convened an emergency session. Captain Rice delivered her report to grim-faced officials and military commanders. The debate that followed was heated but brief. Humanity would not accept captivity. If we surrender now, we surrender everything that makes us human, President Kwan said in her address to the planet. Our curiosity, our drive to explore, our fundamental freedom to determine our own destiny. We cannot and will not accept these terms. Earth had 48 hours to prepare for war. Military vessels were deployed, civilian populations evacuated from coastal cities and major population centers. Scientists worked frantically to analyze the limited data on Vex technology, searching for any weakness. Captain Rice and the Odysseus were ordered to join the defensive fleet assembling in high Earth orbit. As she watched the massive formation of ships, the largest Earth had ever assembled, she couldn't help wondering if they were making a terrible mistake. Do you think we have a chance? Maya asked quietly as they stood on the observation deck, watching Earth's military might gather. Honestly, no, Rise admitted. Not if what we saw is representative of their technology. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. So we're going to fight a war we can't win. Rise turned to her executive officer with a grim smile. That's the thing about humans, Maya. We've been doing that throughout our entire history. And sometimes, against all odds, we win anyway. The Vex arrived precisely when they said they would. Not in a single ship like before, but in a fleet of over 300 vessels, each larger than anything humanity had ever constructed. They emerged from what appeared to be artificially generated wormholes, surrounding Earth in a perfect geometric formation that spoke of terrifying precision. Their message was brief. You have chosen extinction. And then the first volley was fired. The orbital defense platforms, humanity's first line of defense, were obliterated within seconds. Earth's fleet responded with everything they had: nuclear-tipped missiles, energy weapons, mass drivers. The barrage seemed pitiful against the Vex vessels, whose hulls simply absorbed or redirected the attacks. Aboard the Odysseus, Captain Rise watched in horror as ship after ship in Earth's defense fleet was destroyed. The casualties were mounting by the second. All vessels, evasive pattern Delta, she ordered through the tactical network. Don't stay still long enough to give them a clean shot. The Odysseus shuddered as a glancing blow from a Vex weapon scorched its port side. Damage reports flooded in, but Reyes's attention was caught by something on the tactical display. "Commander Chen, are you seeing this?" she called to Maya. Maya was already analyzing the data. "Yes, Captain. The Vex ships. They're efficient, but they're predictable. Their attack patterns follow strict geometric progressions. There's no improvisation." A plan began to form in Reyes's mind. They're technologically superior, but they fight like machines. Maybe that's their weakness. Before she could elaborate, the ship rocked violently as a direct hit crippled their propulsion system. "Weapons offline. Shields at 12%, reported Lieutenant Diaz, his voice strained but professional. "Another hit like that, and they'd be space debris." Captain Reyes made her decision. "All hands, abandon ship. Get to the escape pods." She turned to Maya. "Get to Earth. Tell them what we've learned. The Vex are predictable. That's something we can use." "What about you?" Maya demanded. Reyes looked at the main viewer, where the massive Vex command ship loomed. "Someone needs to buy you time." "Go, Commander." "That's an order." As Maya reluctantly headed for the escape pods with the remaining crew, Captain Reyes plotted a collision course for the Odysseus. The ship's reactor was already destabilizing from battle damage. A deliberate overload would create an explosion significant enough to at least damage a Vex vessel. "You've chosen the wrong species to pick a fight with," Reyes muttered as she locked in the course. The Odysseus, wounded but defiant, accelerated toward the massive Vex command ship. In her final moments, as the reactor breach warnings blared around her, Captain Elena Reyes sent one last message to Earth. "They think we're beaten. Show them what humanity does when its back is against the wall." The Odysseus slammed into the Vex command ship at near-relativistic speed. The resulting explosion temporarily blinded Earth-based sensors and carved a visible chunk from the alien vessel's hull, the first significant damage humanity had managed to inflict. It wasn't a victory, but as Maya Chen watched from her escape pod, she knew it was something perhaps more important: proof that the Vex weren't invincible. The war had only just begun. The unexpected alliance. 3 months into what was now called the Extinction War, humanity had been pushed to the brink. Major cities lay in ruins. Earth's orbital defenses had been obliterated. What remained of the human military operated from hidden bases deep underground or beneath the oceans, launching desperate guerrilla attacks that did little more than irritate the vastly superior Vex forces. Yet despite the overwhelming odds, humanity had not surrendered. If anything, the ferocity of human resistance had increased with each passing week. Commander Maya Chen, now Admiral following a battlefield promotion, directed operations from Sanctuary Base Alpha, a massive underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. The war room was a hive of activity as officers coordinated what remained of Earth's defense forces. "Status report," Maya ordered, entering the command center after 4 hours of fitful sleep. The most anyone got these days. "The Vex have destroyed another 3 cities in the past 12 hours, reported General Santos, her face grim. "Beijing, Cairo, and Sydney are gone. Civilian casualties." She hesitated. "In the millions." Maya closed her eyes briefly, absorbing the horror. "What about Project Phoenix?" "Ready for field testing," replied Dr. Arjun Nair, chief scientist of what remained of Earth's R&D division. "But Admiral, I must emphasize again, this technology is experimental at best. We've had no time for proper testing." "We're out of time for proper anything, Doctor," Maya replied, her voice carrying the weight of command decisions that sent people to their deaths daily. "Deploy the Phoenix units." Project Phoenix represented humanity's best hope, a radical adaptation of Vex technology reverse-engineered from debris collected after Captain Rice's sacrifice. The Phoenix units were small, agile fighter craft equipped with adaptive shield technology that could theoretically reconfigure itself to match Vex attack patterns, effectively becoming invisible to their targeting systems. As the Phoenix squadrons launched from hidden bases around the globe, Maya turned her attention to another development, one that had been classified at the highest level. "What about our visitor?" she asked quietly. General Santos gestured toward a secure door. "Still waiting to speak with you. Says it will only communicate with the successor of Reyes." 3 days earlier, a small craft of unknown design had somehow penetrated Earth's atmosphere undetected, landing precisely at the hidden entrance to Sanctuary Alpha. Its sole occupant had emerged with hands raised in what appeared to be a universal gesture of peace, speaking perfect English and asking for the one who followed Captain Elena Reyes. Maya entered the secure conference room alone. Seated at the table was a being unlike any she had encountered before. Humanoid in basic shape, but with skin that seemed to shimmer with bioluminescence, changing colors subtly as it breathed. Its eyes, 3 of them, arranged in a triangle, fixed on Maya as she entered. "Admiral Chen," it said, rising gracefully, "I am Thalara, emissary of the Meridian Collective. Why are you here?" Maya asked directly, having no patience left for diplomatic niceties. "To offer an alliance," Thalara replied. "The Vex have been a plague upon this galaxy for millennia. They claim to maintain order, but they merely enforce stagnation. They eliminate any species they cannot control, particularly those with your most valuable trait, which is adaptability," Thalara said, the skin around its eyes shifting to a deep purple. "The Vex are technologically superior to most species, but they are rigid. They follow patterns, algorithms. They cannot comprehend true innovation." Maya thought of Captain Rice's final observation, that the Vex were predictable. That matches our findings. But if they're so powerful, why haven't they eliminated your people? "We hide," Thalara admitted. "We scattered ourselves across thousands of worlds, becoming nomadic, invisible. But we watch, we learn, and occasionally we find species worth saving." Its skin rippled with blue light. "Your Captain Rice's sacrifice was noticed by our observers. It showed unusual thinking, creativity and desperation, the willingness to adapt tactics instantly. So you've come to help us fight." "We've come to help you win," Thalara corrected. "We have technology that, combined with human ingenuity, might finally end the Vex threat." Maya studied the alien carefully. "Why should I trust you?" "Because you have no alternative," Thalara stated simply. "And because, unlike the Vex, we believe in choice. If humanity survives, you may join us, oppose us, or chart your own path among the stars. We require no vassalage, only that you help us eliminate a common enemy." It was a risk. The Meridian might have their own agenda, but as Maya had told Dr. Nair, they were out of time for proper anything. "What do you propose?" she asked. Thalara's skin brightened. "My ship carries templates for weapons technology that can penetrate Vex defenses. But more importantly, I bring knowledge of Vex psychology. They have a hierarchical command structure. Remove their leadership node, and the rest become disorganized. A decapitation strike." Maya nodded. "But their command ship is the most heavily defended object in the solar system." "Yes," Thalara agreed, "which is why we will need your Phoenix units, combined with our stealth technology, and most importantly, a strategy the Vex would never anticipate because it defies mathematical optimization." For the first time in months, Maya felt something like hope. "I think we can help with that." The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. Meridian technology was integrated with the Phoenix units, while Earth's remaining scientists worked alongside Thalara to develop what they began calling chaos protocols, battle strategies deliberately designed to appear irrational, with maneuvers that sacrificed efficiency for unpredictability. Meanwhile, the Phoenix squadrons that had already deployed were proving the concept. The adaptive shields worked, not perfectly, but well enough to give the small fighters a fighting chance against Vex vessels. For the first time since the war began, humanity was inflicting meaningful damage. The Vex response was immediate and revealing. Their formations became more rigid, their attacks more predictable, as if they were doubling down on the mathematical precision that had always worked for them before. They couldn't comprehend why their targeting systems were failing against the erratic flight patterns of Phoenix pilots who'd been ordered to fly like you're insane. They're compensating the only way they know how, Thalera explained during a strategy session. By becoming even more structured, more algorithmic, it is making them vulnerable. The plan that emerged was audacious to the point of madness. A small strike force of enhanced Phoenix units would penetrate the Vex defensive screen around their command ship. The objective wasn't to destroy the vessel that remained beyond human capabilities, but to deliver a special payload directly to the ship's command center. It's not a bomb, Dr. Nair explained to the volunteer pilots. It's a virus, but not one that attacks computer systems. This targets the actual Vex themselves. The Meridians had provided the key insight that the Vex, despite their insectoid appearance, were partially synthetic beings, the product of ancient biological evolution combined with generations of technological augmentation. Their neural networks were vulnerable to specific frequencies of electromagnetic radiation that would effectively scramble their ability to process information. It won't kill them, Thalera clarified, but it will incapacitate their command functions for approximately 12 of your hours, long enough to force a retreat. The operation was scheduled for what might well be humanity's last stand. The Vex had begun systematically targeting Earth's remaining population centers, and intelligence suggested they were preparing for a final assault that would render the planet uninhabitable.